Well, we have another day again. Today we start a brand new module, B3. This is where we get into governance and structures, implications of synodality. And to launch us, every time we start a new module, we start with Mass in St. Peter's, and it is always a beautiful Mass. And the homily was focusing on St. Luke, whose feast is today. Luke is faithful disciple of St. Paul, and Luke is the one who always highlights the role of the woman and the role of those who are least and little in society. Luke is the one who is sensitive to the physical and to the human condition. And as we saw that in the homily of the Mass, then we moved to the Paul VI Hall, and then what did we do? We started B3.3. And in this section of the third section of our deliberation, we're looking now at participation. We looked at communion, we looked at mission, we're looking at participation. And how do we govern the church for an all synodal church, for an all-inclusive church? We had Timothy Ratcliffe kick us off with a wonderful theological reflection. And in his reflection, he saw the council, the first council in Acts of the Apostles, Acts 15, he saw it as a gathering. And he said, you know, it was so interesting that James is the one who gives the gathering at the end of the council of all the fruit of the conversation, because it would be hardest for James to have accepted the inclusion, because he is by blood part of the group. The others were brought in by faith, and it was important that James was the one who did that gathering, because in the Jerusalem church, James would have been the one who would be kind of on the extreme edge of wanting to be clean and clear about things. He said, you know, how often did the Lord speak about gathering? How I long to gather you like a hen her chicks. And they gathered in the upper room. And he focused on all the times in the church that they were gathered. But he also focused on how fractured the early church was and all the different tensions that it had, pulling it to pieces. And yet the synod was the way, the medicine that brought unity back to the church. Then we had Father Vitalis, who his presentation was a very theological presentation on Lumen Gentium and on the church as synodal. And his main point is that you have to conceive the church in three ways. First, the church is collegial or synodal. The church is hierarchical, but the church has a primacy. We have Peter, the office of Peter, who is the first among all the equals. And if you understand the interplay between these three, then you understand the dynamism of a synodal church. A synodal church doesn't undo the primacy of Peter, nor does it undo the hierarchy, but it is these three flowing in tension that allow the Spirit to work within the church. So we're now into deep conversations upon our topic, and you'll get more on that tomorrow when we come again. But remember, things are getting now to the really tough topics. Pray for us, pray for us, pray for us.